Hello, welcome to Ra-El Bull. I'm a professional astrologer and holistic wellness practitioner. Thank you so much for choosing to spend precious minutes of your time with me today. This is the General Astrology Overview for January 2024. I'm your host and guide, Ifeymerael. I've created a calendar for these monthly videos, which is free for you to access. You simply need to have Google Calendar installed on your device and subscribe to my website. The link for the Ra-El Bull website is below. To learn how to use the calendar, visit the Ra-El Bull site or watch my instructional video. The link for that is also below in the description. This is part 5 of the January 2024 General Astrology. If you haven't already watched the short top-level overview for the month, I recommend you do that first because it provides essential context. In parts 1 and 2 of this series, we explored the building Earth trine energies involving Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, and the Sun, and we examined the beautiful Capricorn new moon on the magical 11 calendar day. We then looked ahead into the latter part of the month and discussed how additional transits would amplify these robust productivity and manifestation dynamics occurring primarily in Capricorn and Taurus. Afterwards, in part 3, we trained our focus on the high-impact transit of Pluto entering Aquarius, including the collection of astro transits surrounding that event in the super robust astrological amalgamation that is January 20, 2024. In part 4, we examined the numerous numinous Venusian astroabdurations involving Chiron, the North Node, Jupiter, and the galactic center, culminating on that solar Plutonian Aquarian amalgam 11-ish day of ascension and spiritual amplification. Exhausted? I hope not, because 5 days later, on January 25, the high intensity returns, probably long before we've had time to process or integrate what has already happened. So shine your boots, change the oil, pay the light bill, feed the cat, and put on your ballet shoes. Life's about to get large. And afterwards, remember to like, share, and subscribe to support this channel. I'm so grateful for your interest and kind-hearted assistance. Subscriptions to both my website and this channel are free. So let's do this. The final 6 days of the month are dominated by 5 aspects or aspect groups. Number 1, the Leo full moon on the 25th, 9:53 a.m., 5 degrees of Leo. It squares Jupiter at roughly 7 degrees Taurus. Recall that the January Capricorn new moon squared the North Node. This full moon has the Sun in Aquarius, not far from Pluto. The Sun exactly squares Jupiter at 6 degrees 49 minutes on the 26th. Number 2, the same day, the 26th, Uranus stations direct at 11:35 p.m. Pacific, 19 degrees of Taurus. Number 3, this full moon also sets up a lovely kite formation on the 27th and 28th, which incorporate the 2 key benefic planets. Saturn at 6 degrees of Pisces fills the harmonious sextiles of Venus in Capricorn and Jupiter in Taurus, which are at a trine angle to each other. Number 4, all of this action is accompanied by Mercury and Mars involved in a slew of aspects during the 3 days of the 27th through the 29th. They conjoin on the 27th at 17 degrees Capricorn, and then together they square the North Node on the 28th and 29th at 19 degrees Capricorn. And finally, they trine Uranus just 3 days after he went direct. This is Mercury on the 28th, 19 degrees, Mars on the 29th, also 19 degrees. This is hard, shocking, and good, all rolled into one red pill. Number 5, last, note that the waning gibbous moon conjuncts Lilith at 13 degrees Virgo on the 28th, intensifying the emotional flavors, illuminating the mysteries, and shining the silvery light of positive change into the domains of our unconscious selves. So now let's unpack all of that, taking the four vertices of the kite one by one. Given that Venus is the ruler of Taurus, is exalted in Pisces, and is well situated in the early degrees of Capricorn, Venus has already been strongly activated by January's Earth trines, has received Chiron's sagely blessings and kind-hearted remedies, has felt Lakshmi's North Node blessings, and is now, on the 25th of January, only 3 days away from trining the greater benefic Jupiter at 7 degrees in her home sign, forming the 7th trine in the series that began with Mercury's retrograde at 22 degrees Sagittarius. As I said in part 4, this is tremendously beneficial Venus magic. And obviously, Jupiter is strong and uplifted now that he's direct and receiving this avalanche of loving support from just about everyone in the solar system. The moon in Virgo assumes the role of the activator in this kite, igniting or activating the tension or struggle with Saturn in Pisces. This is the spine of the kite. It's like a live wire with its polarized energy that demands balance, reconciliation, synthesis, or harmonious unification. The Virgo moon speaks to our personal needs connected with nurturing, healing, supporting, growing, and serving others or our causes. Virgo is a mutable female sign that is strongly compassionate and humble, yet discerning, organized, analytical, and precise. Fortunately, Virgo is an efficient reconciler and mediator. Saturn is at the point of the kite at 6 degrees Pisces. He's at the upper end, directly opposite the Virgo moon, which is the kite's tail. Another way to understand this has a more maritime flavor and turns that image on its head. Saturn in watery oceanic Pisces can be understood as the anchor of this energetic phenomenon, which originates with the moon in the sky above. Whichever visual metaphor works best, we can expect Saturn to receive and lock in all of this charged Earth energy, and we may see it expressed there in our personal house with its cusp in Pisces or wherever Saturn is, or possibly in Capricorn or Taurus, where Venus and Jupiter sit. So this is intense. Listen closely. The latter planets are both benefic planets, Venus and Jupiter, and both are harmonizing with Saturn, which is reassuring, if not thoroughly positive. We can call upon the Gaian trine energies for guidance and support as we select and execute on measures that will alleviate the tension or conflict that may arise. The Taurian Jupiter can bless us with his good luck and optimism and expansive capabilities. The Capricorn Venus, still in essential dignity, can bless our relationships' appearance, aesthetic sensibilities, and financial resources, helping to spread the beauty, abundance, and luck around as needed. The Virgo moon can help us reconcile and balance out whatever restraints, constraints, arduous scenario, or heavy vibes Saturn raises from the Piscean waters. Moreover, Saturn is in the lunar mansion called the Lucky Star of Hidden Things, which has many wonderful resonances and blessings. I'll say more about the nakshatras in a moment. As I said, the Sun and Moon are squaring Jupiter during the full moon lunation on the 25th and Uranus direct station on the 26th, a point I also made in the second part of the Earth trine discussion, part 2 of this series. The Sun's energy will charge Jupiter and illuminate Jupiterian or Taurian matters, events, issues, etc. The Moon's angle with Jupiter at this time may create some discomfort. Our intuition and mood and needs may be in conflict with our higher beliefs or political or legal ideals, or with our optimism or drive for expansion and abundance. We might also encounter family matters at odds with those qualities and concepts. But this is a short transit, so be reassured. Also, be careful of overindulging in food, intoxicants, or other substances that affect your mood and sense of wellness at this time. Now, let's talk about one particular 800-pound gorilla stationed just beyond Saturn. Uranus goes direct on the 26th, right in the middle of all this full moon and kite action and Mercury-Mars North Node conjunction square trine festival. Breathe deeply. This is Uranian power at its peak, and it will be impactful. But fear not, there is truly a superabundance of astro-magical fabulosity, quantum foaming into the form sphere all around us. Fortunately, Mercury and Mars have already trined Jupiter this month, and the Sun has trined co-resident in Taurus Uranus. On top of all of that, during the full moon, Venus is closing in on her trine with Jupiter, which is exact at 5:10 p.m. on the 28th. Just under 38 hours after the Leo full moon, Uranus stations direct, 19 degrees Taurus. And over the next 2 to 3 days, on the 28th and 29th, as Uranus is exhibiting his formidable, often shocking, and always unpredictable power, he feels the supportive trine of warrior Mars and his cousin, mental Mercury, both of whom are still cruising confidently through Capricorn. Last but not least, remember that great benefic Jupiter is in the lunar mansion Ashwini, physician to the gods, where he holds the power to heal, solve, and resolve, reconcile, enlighten, and inspire. Speaking of the nakshatras, let's look at some of the other lunar mansions activated by this Saturn and Pisces-headed grand Earth trine kite with its luminous silver moon, tail, and Virgo. Let's also overlay into our analysis the Mercury-Mars conjunction, the North Node squares, and Uranus trines. Saturn lifts the kite from Piscean waters in lunar mansion Shatabisha. This mansion is associated with Lakshmi, whom we noted is presently hosting both Chiron and the North Node in her Revati garden palace. The two most central phenomena of Shatabisha are, one, its immense powers of healing the body and spirit, not unlike Ashwini, and two, Shatabisha holds the principle of Maya, the illusion of the phenomenal world, the impermanent and perpetually changing world, which is merely a representation of divine reality, which is an unchanging and eternal. That's all quite esoteric, I know. So let's look at the Aquarius constellation, which is where we find this nakshatra. It includes fixed star Sadakbia, Gamma Aquarii, in the right arm of the water-bearer Ganymede, lover to Zeus. Called the lucky star of hidden things, it holds the power to discover that wish, or that which has been lost, obscured, or hidden away from us. It's a Venusian star, so it's associated with beauty, abundance, and love. Moreover, in sidereal astrology, Shatabisha is in the sign Aquarius, which is the sign of wish fulfillment, gains, profits, and windfalls. Stern, often described as malefic, Saturn, even though momentarily in an oppositional aspect with the moon, is otherwise beautifully supported, not only by the two benefics, who are in splendid form right now, but also by his position on the wheel of the nakshatras. Keep in mind that Saturn pays rich dividends for our effort, discipline, pragmatism, groundedness, sobriety, and persistence. Also keep in mind that many of the planets activated during the formation of this kite are in strongly spiritual mansions, and so we should be mindful that we're embracing higher spiritual ideals at this time. Looking to the opposite of the kite's spine, its tail, or the discharge point for the energy aimed at Saturn, if you prefer the latter metaphor, we see the Virgo moon in Maga. Happily, this mansion is Venus-ruled, linked to the higher self, number 11, like Aquarius. The moon here is strongly supportive of Saturn's catching the cosmic winds. Like Shatabisha, high spiritual values are resident within this nakshatra, which is connected with the qualities of magnificence and royalty, our ancestors, and the higher realms. Maga also counsels us to lean into personal responsibility, compassion, and unity, and not be enslaved by our worldly concerns. As I've said, Jupiter is in the highly fortunate mansion Ashwini. From the 26th forward, Jupiter will be recovering from whatever excesses or discomforts he experienced with the full moon square on the 25th and 26th. Now comes Venus on the 28th to form the 7th trine with Jupiter since Mercury began the retrograde cycle in late November. This is a powerfully supportive and loving trine with our god of luck, abundance, opportunity, joy, and expansion. And Jupiter is already feeling fine in the mansion of vitality and new beginnings, where he can magically deliver powerful inspirations, enlightenments, healing, solutions, and reconciliations. It's icing on the cake. Like the moon, Jupiter too is very much on board with Saturn's liftoff in the Aquarian mansion of the lucky star of things hidden, Shatabisha. So we've covered the nakshatras for 3 points of the kite: Saturn, the moon, and Jupiter. What about Venus? During the kite formation, Venus is in lunar mansion Mula. She's there when she conjuncts the galactic center just 5 days before the full moon, and when she makes the 7th trine with Jupiter from her position at 7 degrees Capricorn. Like Jupiter, she's supporting Saturn in Shatabisha during the kite in a sextile position. Mula is the mansion of unrooting liberations, of uncovering deeply buried or well-hidden things within our unconscious that restrain our growth and inhibit our spiritual development. Goddess destroyer and protectress Kali and Ganesha, remover of obstacles and benefactor of luck, are associated with this lunar mansion. While Mula is a challenging nakshatra, this whole period is overflowing with so much positive energy, it's difficult to be pessimistic. So those are the 4 vertex points of the grand Earth trine kite phenomenon. Knowing where in your personal natal chart these 4 points appear will enable you to make some well-educated guesses about what may arise in your life, with the caveat that Uranus is involved in a major way. And the one thing that is always true of powerful Uranus transits is they are unpredictable. Let's take a closer look at what the sky god and modern rule of Aquarius is up to while the Leo full moon diminishes her light and the Saturnian Piscean kite takes flight. Uranus stations direct on the 26th, 11:35 p.m., 19 degrees of Taurus, in Nakshatra Bharani. This is a Venus-ruled mansion which is strongly associated with creation, procreation, birth, and new beginnings. Also, it's commonly said to represent release, detachment, surrender, trusting life and life processes, and flow. Uranus is at his peak power here on the 26th and will receive highly positive action and thought-oriented jolts on the 28th and 29th, when Mars and Mercury form their trines from 19 degrees Capricorn. Mercury and Mars conjoin on the 27th in lunar mansion Purva Ashada, which I'll address in a moment. A cautionary note: on the same days they form their trine with Uranus, Mars and Mercury are squaring the North Node. We need to be mindful of the Mercury conjunction with Mars on the 27th and their square with the North Node during this 3-day period, 27, 28, and 29 January. While this suggests amplified abilities for thinking and communication, high productivity for Mercury-ruled matters, and excellent thought and communication for Mars-ruled matters, there's also a tendency towards inflamed rhetoric and aggressive communications and mobility problems, short-term travel issues, etc. Coupled with the square to the North Node, incidents or phenomena we experience at this time, positive or negative, could have strong impacts on how we move forward into our futures. Moreover, as this square is happening, Mercury and Mars are simultaneously trining Uranus, as I've said. Trines are harmonious, the most positive aspects two objects can make, but Uranus is nothing if not unpredictable and frequently shocking and disruptive. This is quite a future-looking, destiny-impacting recipe for Martian matters: athletics, military, law enforcement, personal drive, and ambition, as well as our thinking, reasoning, communication, and mobility, and Uranian matters as well: technology, invention, and the higher mind. Purva Ashada, the mansion where Mars and Mercury are, is associated with Venus and Lakshmi, and is sometimes interpreted to mean earlier victory, undefeated, or unsubdued. With Mars and Mercury conjoined here, we have extraordinary powers of communication, although a tendency towards excessive demands or insistence on our ideas, overheated rhetoric, etc. Trining Uranus, the higher mind in Bharani, we can imagine truly inventive and novel approaches, conceptualizations, launches, or solutions, especially in the Capricorn and Taurian fields of influence and energetic modalities. When we observe the Venus and Jupiter trine in the mix, we're blending in our love, beauty, design, money, sensuality, pleasure, and luxury, along with Jupiterian expansion, luck, abundance, wisdom, ideals, joy, optimism. This is an extraordinarily complex blend of energetic ingredients. Uranus and Bharani calls us to trust the divine, to flow with the benefic energies, to surrender to the blessings, to open ourselves so we can accept new growth and prosperity. This is likely to be a powerful clarion call given everything that is otherwise activating right now in the solar system. With Mercury and Mars squaring the dragon's head in Ravati and Uranus stationing direct, this may be a momentous and a nodal shift point in our lives. And remember, unpredictable. And also remember this month, things might be hard, they might be shocking, but the astrology is very clear. They will be good. I hope you found this segment inspiring, uplifting, useful, and practical. In the last part of this series, we'll look at some more exciting and positive aspects involving the queen of the holy void, Black Moon Lilith, and the loving centaur and hero maker, Chiron. This video has provided some broad and generalized advice based upon the general astrological aspects and influences for the month. If you'd like customized and focused astrological advice about a particular issue, event, or undertaking of any kind, please contact me using the information below. You can even place an order directly on my site for natal chart preparation at 3 different tier levels designed to accommodate any budget, or electional astrology chart services to help you choose the proper and best times for that important matter or key event you're planning in your life. In addition to natal chart and electional chart services, I also provide general consultations for spirituality, health and wellness, and career. You can also schedule time for a one-to-one consultation with me on my site. Finally, if you're interested in participating in a Divine Feminine Christ Higher Self activation, I'm a certified Sophia Circle Journey leader who conducts both live in the Los Angeles area and virtual/online circles. Instructions for joining one of my circles can be found on my site on the services page. Thank you again for spending your time with me today. Rael Bol.